Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to get ready together. I don't know exactly what I'm going to call this look yet, but it's going to be a summer appropriate makeup routine. It's going to give you glass skin and it's going to look almost undetectable on the skin. So I'm going to give you all of my tips and tricks for how to make natural looking makeup long lasting, especially in the humid summer months. And I want the makeup to really just make my skin look very healthy, very juicy. And yeah, let's get into it. Also, Arya is here taking her little morning nap while I'm getting ready. Poppy is by the window, in case you're wondering. So my skin type is combination, but I still like to start with a glowy primer because I have pretty dehydrated skin on my cheeks and around my nose. So if I don't prime my skin correctly, I feel like makeup just doesn't sit as well on my skin. But also, if you're doing your makeup right after doing your skincare, you definitely don't need a glowy primer as long as your skincare products are hydrating enough. But it's been an hour since I did my skincare. Just taking the extra step to rehydrate my skin. I don't really feel the need to put it on my forehead, but whatever's left, you can always just swipe it on. So because I have combination skin, I do like to use a blurring primer if I really want my makeup to stay on for a long period of time and I want to be able to control the shine. So I'm using the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Blurring Balm. This is the translucent one, and I'm putting this in the areas where I tend to get shiny throughout the day. And for me, that's like the front part of my cheeks right here, right in the center of my forehead, my chin, and then on top of my nose, like here. I feel like skin prep for my nose is a little difficult because I get shiny on the sides of my nose like here, but then where my nostrils are, they tend to be quite dry because sometimes I'm blowing my nose from allergies. And so therefore the skin there is usually a little bit more raw. And if I put a blurring primer over the dry skin, it's just going to make my makeup look super cakey around my nose, which is why I just have to be extra careful when I'm doing my skin prep. Now that my skin is all prepped, I'm going to use foundation. Today I'm using the Suku The Foundation. This is a very incredible foundation that I've tried recently. This is probably my favorite foundation of 2026. It's one that I honestly can't stop using. The formula is just really easy to use. I'm just taking it off the cap because there's just a lot of product there and I'm definitely not going to waste it. And what I do is just dot this on my skin. Honestly, a little bit goes a long way. And I like to focus the product mainly on my cheeks because that's where I get the most red. And I'm just going to start blending it into my skin. So back to what I was saying, this texture is so creamy. It's not drying at all, so if you have dry skin, you would still appreciate this formula. But also if you have oily skin, it doesn't give you too much glow on the skin. It's definitely controllable. Like you can definitely add powder over this to keep the formula looking soft matte or matte on your skin. The coverage is also pretty customizable because it just depends on how much you put on the skin. If you build it up, it can go up to like a full coverage foundation pretty easily. And because I still have some product left on my finger, I'm going to dab this in any areas where I want a little more coverage. Because this foundation is so expensive, unless you're really looking to splurge on a new foundation, I feel like I found a dupe for this. If you're looking to try a formula that is similar to this, but you don't want to shell out this much money for a foundation, I would say, okay, this is also a very expensive foundation, but I think the Hourglass Illusion Luminous Glow Foundation in the gold tube, that one is pretty similar and it's also a very nice creamy consistency. It's not a very liquidy foundation, which is why I think that squeezy tube is a really nice way to package the product. So if you want to try something similar, I would recommend that foundation. Okay, now that my face is all evened out, I want to add a little bit more dimension to my face again. I'm going to use the Rare Beauty Liquid Contour. The reason why I like this contour is because it's quite a neutral shade, so there is equal parts warm and cool tones in this particular shade that I have, which is Solace. And I just feel like this shade in particular just looks very natural on my skin. I'm gonna add a little bit right here as well. I want my face to look defined, but I also don't want to look like I have a lot of makeup on, which is what's really gonna give the illusion of glass skin, perfected skin, because I feel like if glass skin looks makeup-y, it kind of defeats the purpose because it just looks like you have really good makeup on instead of, oh, you've got your skincare routine down, if that makes any sense. I'm just blending this across my forehead and into my temples like this, and it's just going to give a very soft, defined look to the face. If I want to, I can totally build it up, but I'm just gonna leave it here for now. You kind of have to trust the process of applying everything step by step. Now for blush, I'm going to use the Kosas Impressionist Multi-Stick in the shade Muse. I'm going to pick up some product with my blush brush, and I'm going to pat this into my skin. This multi-stick in particular is quite pigmented, so I would say to work it up in thin layers instead of trying to build it up too quickly because it has a slightly stiffer formula. It's not as creamy as like the Rhode Pocket blushes or the Haus Labs Glassy Fuse blush sticks. I feel like this has more of a satiny matte finish. Okay, I wouldn't say matte, but maybe like a natural satin finish on the skin. And because the formula is like this, it actually lasts way longer. And I just love the way that this shade makes my cheeks look. I've mentioned this before, but can you see how the blush shade looks quite similar to the natural flushed color of my lips? This is a really great indicator that the blush will look like it's really just coming from your skin and not like a blush that you're wearing. So this part is now dependent on whether or not you have dark under eyes. I feel like I have some darkness under my eyes that I want to cover up, but if you don't feel the need to do this, you can definitely skip this step. I'm just gonna go in with a medium coverage concealer that has a slightly more radiant glowy finish. This is the Chantecaille Bio Lifting Concealer in the shade Shell. I've been liking this concealer a lot because of how serum-y the formula is. It's infused with the Chantecaille Bio Lifting ingredients from their skincare range. So it's been proven to improve the look of wrinkles and aging around the eye area over time. I obviously haven't tested this out enough to really see if that is true, but in terms of a makeup product, I really like it. So I'm just applying this under my eyes, and I'm also just gonna bring whatever's left on top of my eyelids, under my brows. And do you see how the finish is just slightly radiant and luminous? I just love the way that that looks under my eyes. I feel like it instantly brightens up my face. Aria is just enjoying her morning. Now I'm going to take my concealer pencil. This is from the same, and I'm just going to cover up any little areas on my face that I feel needs a little bit more coverage. So any little old spots or blemishes. I feel like this part is so satisfying because it's almost like you're just photoshopping your skin. Now that I feel like my skin is all perfected, I'm gonna go in with this setting spray. This is the Tarte Life Lock Hydrating Setting Spray. I also really like the Danessa Myricks Liquid Blurring Balm, which I feel like I've mentioned many times before on my channel. What I like about this setting spray in particular is that it's a little bit more hydrating. So I'm just going to douse my face with this. Just gonna cover up my earrings. If you wear earrings, I would recommend covering them while you spray your makeup setting spray because sometimes the setting spray can leave kind of like a film on your earrings, which if you're wearing diamond earrings or anything that's supposed to be a little bit shiny, it's definitely going to dull them down a lot. So I just like to protect it when I'm putting my setting spray on. Okay, now brows. I'm gonna let the setting spray fully set on my face first while I do my brows. I'm using my Judy Doll brow pencil. Do I even need to say what brow pencil I'm using at this point? I really don't do anything special with my brows. I'm just running through them with the pencil with short strokes, and then I just brush it out with the spoolie to give it a very natural finish. Now the brows are all done. I'm gonna go in with powder. So today I'm gonna be using the Kosas Cloud Set Powder in the shade Breezy. Oh my goodness, Aria. Aria. Do you want this on the internet? Should I blur you? I feel like I need to censor this, so I'm going to move my head over here. I'm gonna be using the Kosas Cloud Set, and I'm also using a puff with this. I'm first gonna blend out any creasing that's happening under my eyes. I just have it very slightly where I have folds, I guess, right under my eye. It's nothing crazy, but I think because the concealer is so serum-y, it does crease if I don't set it right away. But that's fine with me. I'm just gonna set it now with my puff. Ooh, that was so satisfying. And then I'm also running this across my forehead because I tend to get quite shiny right here. And then whatever's left, I'm pressing into the sides of my nose to help control the shine there. I'm also taking a little bit of this and patting it right across my jaw and this front part of my cheeks. I'm avoiding this area right here and my temples because that's really gonna give that glass skin effect. I just feel like the finish looks so natural. It really just looks like my skin is glowing from within. My skin is perfected, but it doesn't look makeup-y. Now for the eyes, I have a lot of options here, and this depends how seriously you want to take the undetectable makeup. For me, I don't mind having a little bit of shadow on the eyes, even if I want a very natural makeup look. So here are some options that I would consider using. The first eyeshadow is this XL eyeshadow. I feel like I've mentioned this before in my past videos. This is a beautiful satiny eyeshadow that has a glow to it. It's not shimmery, it's not glittery, it's not metallic. It just has a nice luminous finish to it while still providing a little bit of shadow to the eyes. This one is also very similar. It's from Kate, which is another Japanese brand. These formulas are also very similar. They're slightly satiny. They're very sheer and buildable, but with a nice luminous satin finish. So it really just looks like there's a glow to the eyes, but again, not shimmery, not glittery, not metallic. And I like the different shades that are here. You can really play around with how intense you want the shadow to be on your eyes. Now, if you want to go for a more matte eyeshadow, the first one I would consider is the Violette Plume eyeshadow. This one is in the shade Le Au Café. It's a beautiful soft brown shade that has neutral undertones, so it's not too cool, not too warm. It's quite similar actually to the Rare Beauty contour shade that I just put on my face. This is actually the one I'm going to use today. But two other matte ones that I would also consider are the Makeup Forever Artist Shadow in Sweet Taupe and MAC Groundwork Paint Pot. But today I'm going to go for the Violette eyeshadow. I'm going to use it with my fingers and I'm just patting this on my lids. I'll show you a full before and after with my eyes so you can see how subtle this eyeshadow can be. So this is it. This is the before. It looks fine. It really looks like I have no shadow on. And then this side, which I obviously have some color, but it's nothing crazy. And it really is quite similar to the shade that I have on my cheeks. And this is what it looks like on both of my eyes. It's very subtle. I like that it adds a little bit of color to them. And because the shade is so consistent with what I have on my cheeks, it really adds to the very natural makeup look that we're going for today because it's just very cohesive. Now I'm curling my eyelashes. And then adding mascara. Again, I'm using the Judy Doll No Drooping Mascara. I feel like you'll be seeing this mascara a lot more on my channel because of just how much I've been loving it. And I love how inexpensive it is. I just hope that they come out with a brown version one day because then I can use it for more of my everyday looks where I don't feel like I need such a dark black mascara. But yeah, so far this mascara has not disappointed. Like, look how crazy my lashes look. They're just so long and thick. Now for the lips, I have two lip liner options. The first one is a stain if you want it to be very, very long lasting. You don't feel like doing touch-ups throughout the day and you just want something that's going to stay. The Summer Fridays Flushed Lip Stain in the shade Almond is a beautiful, soft contouring shade for my skin tone. It's quite cool toned and it's very similar, honestly, to the color of the packaging. I would say that this Romy Lip Treat Cream Liner in the shade Anti-Heroin is also very similar. It's a very close match in terms of shade. It's maybe a little bit more mauvey purple, but I don't mind it. It's also a very nice contouring lip shade. I'm gonna use this today because I've been using it a lot and it's honestly just such a comfortable formula to wear on the lips because it has a very creamy finish. This isn't your typical matte long-lasting lip liner. This is called a cream liner for a reason. It has a very easy glidable formula. I would say it's a more pigmented version of the Merit lip liners. It has a very similar kind of glowy finish because this isn't fully matte. But let me just show you what it looks like on the lips. I'm going to overline my bottom lip pretty heavily, which is what I love to do, especially right here in the center. And then as we get to the sides, then I just follow a natural lip line. It's pretty hard to talk when you're doing lip liner. And then for my Cupid's bow, I kind of overline it a little right here too. I don't draw the V, I just go straight across. But I would say naturally my V right here isn't very pronounced, so it looks pretty natural for me to do. It doesn't look crazy. For the sides of the lips, I just follow my natural lip line like that. Oh, I think I overlined it a little bit on this side, but I think that's okay. But yeah, this is what the lip liner looks like. I love the shade so much. It's just a very natural, light shade. A lot of the typical contouring lip shades that I've tried, sometimes they look too gray on me. So I think something that has a little bit more of like a mauve-y finish just looks more natural. And then just to fill in the rest of my lips, this is one of my favorite formulas of all time for the lips because of just how comfortable it is, the fact that it looks shiny on the lips, so it gives you a nice glow, but it's not sticky at all. It's not drying, but it also leaves a stain. Like if I had to come up with my own dream product and develop it myself, I feel like I'd pretty much be trying to make this. This is the Violette Lip Nectar, and it's a hydrating lip stain. So the shade that I'm wearing today is Rose de Moab. At first it kind of looks like a nothing shade because it's so beige, and even when I first apply it on my lips, I'm like, oh, it looks so yellowy brown. But like after a few minutes, I swear the shade comes to life. Just watch, it's gonna turn into a nice soft pink. Okay, while we wait for the final lip transformation, I'm going to quickly use a powder bronzer. This is the Westman Atelier Butter Powder Bronzer in the shade Coup de Soleil. And I'm gonna take a little bit of the powder with a nice fluffy brush, and I'm just going to pat this right on top of where we put the blush and the bronzer, on the cheeks and then on the forehead as well, like this. I'll do it for one side of my face so you can really see the difference. And then I like to bring it down my jaw. And this is just to kind of create the illusion of a slightly more sun-kissed skin finish. Again, my body is a lot more tan than my face, so that's why I feel the need to do this. But obviously if, you know, your face and your body match, you really don't need to. But this is what the sun-kissed finish looks like versus this side, which doesn't have that bronzer. I feel like both sides look equally as beautiful, but this is just gonna look a little bit more cohesive with the rest of my body, so that's why I'm going to add it. And what I love about this bronzer in particular is that it does have a buttery texture, just like the name suggests. So it just applies really nicely on the skin. It doesn't make you look flat and matte. It adds a very beautiful, creamy finish to the skin, even though it's a powder. Beautiful. I love this finish. Now let's take a look at the lips again. I hope it's not just me, but I swear it looks a little bit more pink. Like it's not that brownie nude shade. But yeah, this is the finished look. I'm gonna come up close so you can see how everything looks on my skin. And I swear this is the kind of makeup look that gets better over time. So in about 2 hours, when the natural oils of my skin, you know, kind of come to the surface a little bit more, my skin will just look a little bit more glowy. It'll definitely give that glass skin finish. And even now, I just feel like this is my version of a glass skin finish. As somebody with combination skin, there is that beautiful luminous glow, but I'm definitely not worried about this melting off my face or that I'm just gonna look like a complete grease ball in about 10 hours when I'm going to dinner or something. And yeah, this is just my perfect ideal summer makeup routine. I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Thank you so much for getting ready with me, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.